Welcome everybody. This is our Q1 release of 2025. So a quick summary of what we are going to go through today. Obviously, here's a quick welcome. I'll quickly tell you about some of the products that are coming, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Feel free to put any questions you've got into the comments within the meeting. Key dates in terms of this release. So we will be switching on all this functionality on the UAT platform on the 1st of April. And then the main switch on is on the 15th of April. The only exclusion I think from that is the TriPad checks, because obviously that is something which is a paid service in terms of the DBS. So that'll be something that you'll speak to your account managers about. So in terms of new features that are coming, and we're going to show you, we've now got a full download of candidate information. This is really so you've got like effectively a full audit, really good for like the care sector where you might need to do a CQC download. We've brought some additional functionality into our email system, so you can now see when your emails have been sent, if they've been delivered, if they've been read within the platform as well. Some new functionality called application custom fields, and I'll let the demo explain that because it's something completely brand new to you. We've always had the ability to upload passive candidates into the platform. Historically, when you used to put a candidate in as a passive candidate, they used to be opted out of all your GDPR settings. Now you have the ability to put them in and pick which items they're opted into. So it gives you a lot bit more control. We've added in an in-system dialer as well. So where you've got things like where you've got phone numbers, you'll now be able to use like click to call to use for a soft phone or something like that to call out to them. We've added DBS into TriPad checks. So you can now do those within your TriPad journey as a joined up solution. And then we're also bringing video screening into the platform. So we'll tell you a bit about this today. If you're using video interviewing currently within TriPad, this is something that's going to be coming end of life in the autumn. And it's going to be replaced by a new piece of functionality called video screening, which does a lot more than video interview. So I'm now going to hand you over to Sally, and I'm going to stop sharing and I'll let Sally take you through some demos.
Fabulous, thank you. So I'll start, I'll go through obviously all the bits and pieces. I'll pause between each little section. So if you guys have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. We can kind of run through them or give us a shout kind of when we pause. That's totally up to you guys. So let's kick off. Okay, everybody see that? See that, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, lovely. Okie dokie. So first thing I'm going to take you through is the candidate pack, like Chris mentioned. So we've had the ability to download bits and pieces from onboarding for a while, kind of creating a download policy and picking and choosing what you want to download. But it's just been relating to the onboarding elements. Now we can do it for everything. So CV, application, whatever it is now. So the first thing you need to do is create a download policy, just the same as we do in onboarding. So you might be used to that, you might not be. It might not be something that you are using at all. But essentially this download pack is under your tools menu. If you have it, if you don't have the tools menu, it'll be under your jobs menu. So we've got this option down here. So candidate pack download policies. And here's some we prepared earlier. So essentially what you would do is you can click the plus and you can create your own. So you can give it a name and you can pick and choose what you want to be included as part of that policy. So when you pick and choose, you can obviously have kind of whatever you want, kind of a couple of things or literally everything, and it downloads everything together. And what it will do is it will download it all as one PDF file. So it's not kind of individual little files or anything like that. It's kind of one big old PDF, but it does kind of keep everything together. So if your organization does kind of need a candidate pack saving as a personnel file or something like that, this is a really good place to do it. So yeah, you can just kind of create whatever you need, and you just create that policy. So if I'll just call it Sally Test for now, create that policy. And we can see that it's all been kind of included. So what you can then do is you can add this policy either to a job template or to an ad hoc job. So you can have different policies for different jobs if you want to. And you can, as you can see, you can have as many different policies as you like. So to add it onto a job, job, well, either or, it's the same place. If I go to a job, I'm going to go to, sorry, I've just got my list of notes of where I'm going for different things. We can edit the job. And we're going to scroll down. Okay, we're at candidate processing, and we can see we've got there a candidate pack. So I've already included the standard candidate pack onto this particular job. As I say, you can do that at a job template basis, and you can lock it down. So again, everybody kind of goes through the same process and all that kind of stuff. So once you've added it in there, we're going to click save at the bottom. And when you've then got your candidates, you can then choose to download individual things. So we've got some candidates here. So if I go to Tommy Davis, we've got, excuse me, an options menu here. So you can do it through your options menu and download the candidate pack that way. Or you can go to your candidate's mini profile and you can download that candidate pack that way as well. Totally up to you. So this is one we prepared earlier. So the standard candidate pack, we're kind of including the whole shebang, and we're going to request that download. There we go. So we receive an email with a link to download the specific candidate stuff. And that link will, it only goes to the person who's requested it. So it's not going to go through to all your super users or anything like that. It will just come to me personally. And that link lasts for 7 days. So you don't have to do it immediately. It's not going to disappear within 20 minutes or anything like that, but it will kind of expire eventually. So if I just go to my emails, just see if I've got one sitting there. There we go. So your requested download is available. And essentially all we're going to do is going to click on that link. Okay, so it's going to download it as a PDF. There we go. So we can see it as a zip file. And we've got Tommy Davis there. Oh, it does actually do individual bits and pieces. Sorry, I got that bit wrong. So yeah, you have got everything as separate files. So you can just then download all your different things. So your questionnaires, your CV, anything like that that's been attached to that particular candidate. Once you have instigated that download as well, you can also see who has downloaded the policy. So if we go into the candidate profile, we can scroll down and we've now got another little thing, a little tab down here. So under tools, candidate pack download history. So we can see there that I have downloaded that information today. And if we view the download policy, we can see exactly what it was that was included as part of that policy there. And that's your lot for that one.
Sally,
yes.
Sally, can you let Sam in it?
Oh, is she not coming in? 1 second.
I just need you to request her to come in. And then it might be a good point to answer the Q&A questions.
Go for it. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We've admitted everybody else. Okay, so what's in the chat then?
Hopefully we've got Sam with us now.
Yep, I'm here.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so what have we got? If the recording is via AI, no, I don't think so. I think it's just standard recording that's happening. Is the CV the tripod CV or what the candidate uploads? So I think you can choose. Can you? Is that right, Sam?
I believe it's the original, unless there isn't one, and then it's the tripod one, but we would need to go back and check. Can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm going to let you go through the rest of the chat.
Okay. Just sorry, you'll have to bear with me. I've just come in. I can't even find it.
Chris, do you want to do it?
Can the plaque include the advert that they've applied to? No, I don't believe it can.
No.
I'm assuming this is separate to the candidate pack that is auto-generated within the interview booking email. Yes, this is completely separate to that. How does it work with anonymized candidates?
It doesn't apply. So this is downloadable at the hired stage. By that point, your candidate data is all already unanonymized anyway.
Okay. And is there a limit to how many you can download? No, there isn't, because of the way it sends it. So as you saw in Sally's examples, it sends you a link to get it. In the past, when you used to do it, it used to send you the actual files in the email. So yeah, therefore there isn't a limit. Can you request it to be one file per candidate? No, it has to come as a zip file with all the individual files because it's pulling it from different parts of the platform.
Yep. What else we got? I think I may have missed some of these, but I've got, so can you not use this prior to interview? No. So if you're downloading this, so you've got a complete candidate record, you've not got that until you're at that hired stage. And
Yeah,
how would you advise down? Sorry.
It just let me do it at shortlisting stage, but there were only a few bits and pieces in that file. So if you're wanting everything, needs to wait till hired.
Yeah. So if you do it at shortlisting, you're not going to get everything that you asked for. I think you're probably better looking at the application summary if you want to view as part of that shortlisting, as opposed to this. So this is really designed to be at that hired stage when you've got all of the information. So for example, if you choose a contract, the candidate hasn't got a contract until you're at that point where you're making that offer to them or until they've accepted. So it's really designed to be able to be I've got everything I need for this candidate from all over the ATS, all in one place, so that I can upload it to wherever I need it for storing, everything about the candidate.
Cool. Any more, or is that everything?
I think candidate pack makes it sound like it's an interview stage. Maybe it should be hired candidate pack, just a little bit limited to how big you can make it, just because it won't fit on the lines. So say it's designed to just be all of the information about your candidate that you want at that, say, hired stage. So it's not something this is what it's called. The candidate pack that you do at interview is pretty different to this, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. Is that everything for now?
Would it include the manager's step? Sorry, I couldn't see in the example. So it would have all of the onboarding. So for everyone, it will have any process questionnaires which have been filled in by your recruiters. So it should include everything that's needed for this. You're just showing that again, Sally. Thank you.
Yeah. There we go.
So there we go. Process questionnaires, onboarding references, onboarding questionnaires, and that's not just candidate. That's what may have been filled in by the candidate, by the recruiter about the candidate.
Thanks, Sally.
No worries. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me just check there's nobody else waiting. Oh, yeah. 1 second. There we go. We're in. Okie doke. So, next one to talk you through is email delivery status. So, there's not an awful lot to show you on this one, but it's essentially the emails that are being sent from the platform. So, you've always been able to see if they've been sent. So, if we went into candidate profile, we go down to tools. Oh, hold on. 1 second. Good. Hold on. Hold with me, call it. No. Okay, hold on. Let me just start that again. There we go. And if I just find my candidate again. There we go. Yes. So we've always been able to see emails that have been sent from the system. And if we go to tools, sorry. we can see there. But what we've always seen is this little icon here, which just essentially means sent. What we've now changed is we're going to have different icons showing here, and if you hover over them, you'll be able to see kind of what the status of that email is. Now, I don't have too many examples to show you, but yeah, we can see obviously delivered is going to look like this. But I do have a screenshot of what we might see. I'm hoping you can see that one. So obviously we've got sent and delivered, sent landed and opened, delivery pending, and error with send. So obviously you've got the kind of traffic light system. So obviously if it's not worked at all, if it's bounced or whatever, you're going to kind of see a red one. If it's pending, so potentially it's queued because of your IT team kind of queuing emails being sent out or anything like that, obviously it's going to show as orange. And then obviously you've got a couple of different options there. As well as on your candidate profile page, you'll also be able to see, I don't know if I'll be able to see this today, but on your onboarding, if you've had any references that have been sent out or referee emails that have been sent out, you'll be able to also see if they have been sent as well. So I'm not sure if I've got anything there, but let's have a look on this one. Let me think which one might be a good one. That one, I think. So if we've got no, not that one. That's not a good one. That was the one. There we go. So referee workflow. If references have been sent out to your referees, you'll be able to download the pack. So if I just download the PDF, it will give us the email delivery status of if the emails have actually gone through to those referees as well. So if I just show you this one. There we go. So reference details, we can see we've got an email delivery status. So you would also get detail whether that has been bounced or anything like that as well. So hopefully that will help you out. Any questions on that one? Resounding silence.
No, there's no question, Sally.
Okay, fine, good. Right, moving on then. So, next one I want to show you is application custom fee.
Questions? Sorry. Did you see delivered, read, etc.? Yes. So it will say if it's been opened. So whether it's landed and opened. Don't know whether they've read it, but you know if they've opened it. Do we know if it's gone to spam? No, because we won't be told that. Can Hiring Manager Plus have access to this? I think that depends on the product you've got, and that would just be a configuration. Seems to be something that people are going to be really happy about. There'll also be a report in Insights that you'll be able to pull down a report that is specifically under the audit section on the email statuses as well. Sorry, Sally, over to you.
Yes. Thank you. Just checking there's nobody else waiting. There we go. Cool. Cool. Okay. Next one then. Application custom fields. So this is something that has been requested for quite some time. So it's finally happened. And again, this is kind of part, you've got two parts to this one. So a little bit like the download policies where you create the thing first, you've got to create something else with your application custom fields as well. So going to go over to manage. And a little bit like your normal custom fields, you would create an application custom field in here. Obviously, I've got lots more options than you guys will have, but you will have an application custom fields option as well. So you can create essentially questions that are going to be attached onto applications, and you can choose whether these are always going to be asked on every single question, every single application, every single job. So yes, we know that you can attach a questionnaire on there, but application custom fields kind of just fix it onto the job. So every candidate, is going through that process. And you can also choose if a certain icon is going to appear on a candidate's profile as well. So that bit is slightly wonky at the moment, but it's getting looked at and it will get fixed. But we can kind of create these questions and then those icon features will come a little bit later on. So as you can see, I've kind of been playing around. We've got some in the system already. But essentially to create an application custom field, you're going to click on the plus at the top. Okay, so as normal, we would stick in our label. Do you like chocolate? Those people that know me know I like my food, but obviously can't spell. So we pop in our label in there. We can pop in any guidelines. So just the same as any other question, you can stick any guidelines in there. And then you can choose your question type. So these kind of mirror the questions that are in the ATS already. So you've got your text area, you've got your drop down, radio buttons, checkbox, all that kind of stuff. But you've also got an icon option here as well. So if you choose the icon one, you can choose what icon is going to be shown on your candidate profile. So if we went for chocolate, we can have a look through and see if there's anything relating to chocolate, maybe. Or, I mean, something that might be a little bit more normal would be driving license, for example. And what we found out is you can actually use this as a bit of a search function. So if we search for car, it did work the other week when I was doing it. Maybe it didn't now. If I click on that again, does it search for car? Oh, what is going on here? Sorry. It's freaking out on me. Bear with me. Do you like chocolate? Let's try that again. Sorry, folks. Okay, so we've got our icon. We've got our icons that we can choose from. And as you can see, there's loads and loads and loads that are going in there. So I'm just going to pick a random one. So we'll pick a car for now. And what we can do is we can then add options. So we could add yes for someone to answer. We can also say no. And if we say yes, we can choose that icon, whichever one that you pick, is going to show on that candidate's profile. And this is going to show in the same place where the D icon would appear if your candidate has said that they get apply under the disability confidence scheme, for example. But it's going to appear kind of on that candidate profile. As I say, we've got a little bit of a gremlin in the system at the moment, so it's not quite working right now. Hopefully, by the time it all goes live, I think 11th of April, that all should all be fixed, and you'll see that kind of happening. But yeah, essentially, you can choose an icon to be added onto your candidate profile. You've then got some options over here on the right-hand side. So you can choose if it's a required question, as you would do with a normal custom field, and you can also choose if it's a global field. Now, if you make it global, it's appearing on every single application. So every candidate is going to go through this, and you can't take that off. Obviously, as a super user, you can go in and change it and things in Manage, but a hiring manager couldn't kind of remove that from view or anything like that. So if you make it a global, it's going to go on for everybody. If you want it to be optional across different jobs, make sure you don't make it global, and then you've got the option to include it or not, as the case may be. You then need to make sure you choose who's going to see it. So when I was first testing this out, I didn't pick any of these, and I was like, oh, there's a bug, it's not working. It's because I've not picked any boxes. So if you want to make sure your hiring managers see it, if you as super users want to see it, you need to make sure you tick the relevant boxes. So maybe Hiring Manager Plus, for example, hiring managers, whatever it is there. We're going to choose there. So we're going to save that option. It does its thing. There we go. And we can see it adds it in. So this is our bank of application custom field questions. And if you've marked any of them as global, so we can see that little world symbol here. So most of these are not marked as global, but we've got a couple at the bottom. Oh, it's done do you like chocolate several times. Let's get rid of those, just so it's not making the system weird. Is it going to do it? We all know Manage takes its time. There we go. We've got rid of those wonky ones. But yeah, so sorry, if you've marked it global, so you've marked it for everybody, you see the little world icon on there. You can go in and edit any of these at any point. You can enable them, you can disable them, just like you can with any other custom field. But yeah, you can kind of create them in Manage. So once you've created them in Manage, you can add them again through a job template or onto an ad hoc job. So if I go onto my jobs list, I'm going to go on this one. So I would go into my job. I would scroll down a little bit. And there we go. We're going to go down to our application flow. So if we expand this, we're going to go down here and we can see we've got an application custom field option. So you can drag this around. You can choose the order of when it's going to be asked. But essentially, we're going to toggle it on to make sure that those questions are asked. And we can see we've got 2 fields selected. If we edit that, we can see that those are the global ones that we selected previously. To add some more, you could just search for a keyword relating to some questions, and you can add them over on the right hand side. So these are the questions that are going to be attached onto this job, and every candidate going through that application process is going to have to go through these questions. And obviously you can see we've got kind of slightly different questions that are going through. Essentially with the candidate, what they look like, so I forgot to bring up the candidate view of it, but essentially what they look like is just a normal questionnaire. So when you've probably been testing out your roles, you've been adding a questionnaire to your application flow, for example, the custom fields look exactly the same. They're just obviously maybe slightly ahead of your questionnaire, depending on the order of when you've put them in. So if we save that, we can see we've now got 5 fields selected. And if we obviously saved the job at the bottom, any new candidates going through are going to be forced to go through those questions. In true Blue Peter style, here's what I prepared earlier. So we've got a candidate who's sitting in long listing. And to view those custom fields, we can go to our application summary here. And if we click view, we've got those questions that they've gone through. So as we can see, they're application questions, they're custom fields. If you've got any with icons, it kind of shows it there. So it's showing it in the application summary, just not yet on the candidate profile, but you can see them that way. And equally, you can also see them in the candidate mini profile. So if I just scroll down, there we go, our custom fields, again, showing at the bottom. So nice and neat and tidy, all in the same place, and all good to go with that one. And yeah, when the icons are eventually working, you're just going to see it here. So obviously we've got the briefcase icon indicating this candidate has other applications. It's just going to sit alongside there as an indication of driving license, military service, whatever it is that you've chosen that icon to be linked to. Have I missed anything, Sam, on that one?
No, that's it.
No, I can't think of anything.
Cool.
So we've got a few questions on this. We had one that said, what is the benefit of this over using normal questions? Well, it's the icon. You can't have the icon on standard questions. Also, you can add these questions globally. So if your organization was an organization where you always needed somebody to be able to drive, you could ask that on every single job without having to add it as a question on every single job. So it makes that process easier for you. You can only have single questions. You can't have them as child questions. So you can't have branching questions or anything like that. These are only meant to be single questions. Can we report on application custom fields through Insights? I believe we can, can't we, Sam?
Yep, they should be in the report builder.
Yeah.
They should be also downloaded when you send the candidate packs. They're part of the application summary. Just having a look. What else have we got? So the end game for these are just the beginning of it. The end game for these is that they will work eventually with third-party applications. So things like Indeed Apply, and any of the other job boards. The questions will be eventually able to be part of those application flows. So the candidate will do more of the application on a third-party site, and then we'll just come to TriPad for any additional questionnaires. So that's why we've done it in this way and why they can't be branching questions. Roughly when? Within the next 3 months. So we just need to do some testing with the different job boards to make sure that we're sending the format in the right way and that we're getting the results back in the right way. So this is why you don't have the child option, and why they're sort of quite simplistic. But the questions will this way be the same if they're applying directly from your career site onto your ATS, or they're applying through a third-party site that you're connected through to us. Let's have a look. Made a global one. Will it backdate all the templates? No, because you need to turn on the application. In order to turn them on, you need to turn on the application custom fields on each of the job templates. So that won't automatically be on. But once you've turned them on, any global questions will be automatically applied. And you add them to a job template in the application flow by just selecting the on there. You can't screen, you can't auto reject using these at the moment. So as I say, this is just a precursor to be able to get that information in from the job boards and to be able to give you that ability to use whatever icons you want for whatever reasons, ex-military, at risk, that kind of thing. So you've got that visual cue there in order to be able to do that. So that's the benefit. That's the end game for now. The icons are really nice for you to be able to have those different icons. From a candidate perspective, it looks just the same as a questionnaire. It's just like having another questionnaire. And eventually, when there are people coming direct or there are people coming from job boards, they'll be able to answer the same questions in the same way, and you'll be able to get the same responses, in that application for your candidates. So this is a very much a first phase of this. This will be expanded, say, hopefully job boards first, and then we can start to look at bringing things like the auto scoring in. But we've had a lot of requests recently for being able to add those custom icons in for different things. So we've just released this for now to let people start to use that part of it while we're working on the rest of it. Yes, the system remembers the answers. So as a candidate, if I went into a second job, it will pre-populate my answers, yes. I think I've covered them all.
Yep, I think so, Sam.
Cool. Okie dokie. Next one then is passive candidate opt-in, which I think quite a lot of you might quite like. So as you probably know, you can add in a passive candidate onto your platform, and this adds them into your general talent pool. And what a lot of, as I've been kind of out and about with different customers, is a lot of people tell us that it would be really great if we could just opt candidates in to those GDPR preferences so that you can move them around onto different jobs. Ta-da! The time has come where you can do that. So under your tools menu, you can just got your passive candidate option again. But what you've now got is the ability to select those options. So as you probably know, this is the one that we want them to opt into if you're wanting to move them around onto different roles. The candidate does still have the ability to opt out. So when we send them off that email to say, hi, we've added you to our database, they'll be presented with these GDPR preferences, and they can still untick that box if they want to, but you are able to now opt people in to that preference. Just an aside note with this as well, I'm sure a lot of you will be aware, but if you're not, you can edit what is presented to your candidates as well. So you might not want to talk about, present being automatically alerted, kept informed by text message or anything like that. You might not, or the company news maybe. So you can, in Manage, you can hide the preferences that are presented to your candidate. That's another story, but just information that you can do. And you can also, if your organization name is not being presented as part of these preferences, you can also put your organization name in there as well. If you have a look on the Learn pages, there's a whole section on Manage, and that will be information there as well. So yeah, so you can add your candidates to specific preferences. So you can do it in your general talent pool, or again, you can do it on a job. So if I just go into this one here, you've got your passive candidate option. And again, those opt-in preferences are presented to you. So yeah, hopefully that will make life a little bit easier. And all those candidates that you're uploading in bulk from a job fair or anything like that, you can kind of opt them into being applied onto different roles at this time. Any questions on that one? No?
No.
I was hoping for some whooping and hollering there, but
Yeah,
no.
The application form does not pull through from one job to the other. Is that correct? I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether we're talking about the same thing there. Sharon, if you just want to put a bit more information on there. Will it be possible to do this for all candidates and not just passive? No, not at the moment. This is just passive, where the email is going out. So your candidates have the option to sign in and choose their own options at the point of sign up, whereas a passive candidate doesn't. That's why you're able to do this for them for passives only.
Cool. We're good.
Yeah, Sharon, if you just want to add a little bit more information for us, that'd be great, and then we can have a look at that after the next session.
Cool. Okay. I'll move on. We can come back to any other questions. So next one is the in-system dialer. So as we know, candidates can put in a mobile number or phone number against their profile, against their application. And what we've now given you the option or the ability to do is call your candidates from the ATS. So if I go to this candidate here, I can hover over and see their application summary. And we can see that we've got a mobile number indicated. This is now clickable. So if you click on the mobile number, you get the option to pick an application. So if you have Teams linked to, well, if you've got Teams kind of in the background, you can call your candidate via Teams. You can call them via phone link if you want to. So if I select a phone link, it should bring something else up. That one, there we go. So you can use your mobile device from your PC. When we were testing this, it was quite cool because I've got Sam's phone number saved in my phone, and when she rang me, it actually came up with Sam ringing on my phone. So if you've connected up your phone with your work laptop or anything like that, it's going to actually ring from that particular number. And as I say, you can do it from Teams or through Skype or whatever if needs be. So yeah, just a minor thing that we've turned on for you. You can do it essentially wherever you see the mobile number. So I'm in the application summary here. If I went back and went into the candidate profile, we can see there, again, it's clickable. So again, it will open up that one. Obviously, it's now trying to edit it as well. But we can also do it through the mini profile as well. Come on. Nope, doesn't want to. I promise you, you can. I wonder if it'll do it on this one. Good. I've broken my system. Nope, not playing. So you can do it from the mini profile, and I believe you can also do it. So if you had any interviews kind of booked in there, you would also see the candidate details, and you can click the mobile number from there as well. So nice and straightforward, nice and simple, not much more to it. Any questions on that one?
Yeah, we've got a few. Yeah, so I think it doesn't have to be Teams. I'm using a Mac, and it allowed me to connect directly with my phone that's connected to my Mac. There's quite a big list, so it's whatever your browser will support with regards whether or not it supports Jabber. I can't tell you specifically, but it should work with most of the systems that allow you to sort of auto dial out of your laptops. Yep, that's it.
Cool. Okie dokie. So that's all kind of our internal bits and pieces. We're now going to move on to kind of external stuff. So I want to talk about Trust ID, doing DBS checks, and Sam's going to take you through Willow as well. So these are third-party integrations. So these are chargeable extra features. So some of you may be interested, some of you may not be. Obviously, it completely depends on your organization. But yeah, these are kind of our almost big ticket items this release. So we wanted to kind of talk you through them. So if I just open up another, is it this one? Might be this one. No, it's not. Hold on. Open up another platform. We have, so I'm going to talk you through the Trust ID one. So we already have a Trust ID integration, and you can trigger right to work checks from the system. that's another story. What we can now do is we can also incorporate DBS checks into those triggers, and your candidates are just kind of click on a link, they're taken through to complete a DBS, and you can see all the relevant details and things in the system. So what it relies on is the integration being set up by TribePad in the background. But then what you can do once that's all been set up is you can go through and create what we call an instance. And this is essentially setting up how you want that integration to behave in your platform. So this is just kind of our testing platform. So it's it won't make an awful lot of sense from what you're seeing. But essentially, you can have lots of different instances according to all the different integrations that you have. So we've, again, here's one that we prepared earlier. So if I just show you this one. So you can give it a name. So this is just obviously us playing. And you can choose a display name. So the name is for your integration. That's just for your internal. Your display name, this is what your candidate is going to see when it's triggered out to them. We can choose to kill the integration. So we stop it dead if the application is withdrawn or rejected. So we're not kind of wasting money on the Trust ID process. And then we can pick and choose what we want to be included as part of that DBS. So you pop your company name in there, you pop your branch. So we've got several different ones in here just because we've been setting up different tests things, but you'll probably just have the one branch in there to choose from. But then you can choose your different DBS type that is triggered. So if you, so I know a lot of you will trigger out basic DBS checks and standard enhanced. You can trigger out both. That's absolutely fine. But what you might need to do is just create separate instances for a basic DBS and then for a standard/enhanced one as well. So the standard and enhanced is a fairly, they go through the same process, but the basic is ever so slightly different. So you need to set up 2 of these integrations. And then when you're triggering it out, you pick and choose which is the relevant one. So we'll just keep this one on basic for now. And then you're going to choose your type of assessment. So is it just right to work only? Is it just DBS only? Is it right to work and DBS? I suppose that depends on kind of the package you've got with Trust ID as well. Yeah, you can pick and choose whatever you want to do. You can then choose how it's going to appear on your platform. So just like we've just been talking about different icons showing on a candidate profile, again, once an integration has been triggered and it comes back with all the results and everything like that, you can choose what it appears like on your platform. So we've just got ER here because we were just using the initials of one of our colleagues, but you might have DB or T for Trust ID or whatever you want it to be. You can only have 2 initials though, so pick and choose carefully. And I believe you can also have an icon on there as well if you prefer, but you've got to kind of include the relevant icon text. So most people tend to stick with the text. You then add in an integration rule. So once the DBS check comes back, how do you want your little icon to perform? Do you want it to change color? Do you want it to show you something different? So you're going to give it a name and you're going to add that condition. So maybe it's a basic check that we're doing. Maybe it's liveness verification. It might be verification check, whatever it is there. So maybe document verification, we'll say, equals passed, for example. And what we might want to then do is make our icon, whoops, is it this one? Oh no, set the label color. So we might change it to green, for example, if it's passed. You can choose whatever you like. There's various other different rules and things that you can add in here, but essentially you make that little icon perform however you want to perform. So I won't go too much into it, but yeah, you can do whatever you like with it. So once you've done that, and your integration is all kind of set up, we've got, again, here's one we prepared earlier. You've got some icons that are going to appear on your candidate. So we've got this one here. So if it's not been submitted, you can click into it and you can choose what is going out to your candidate. You can, so your right to work result is kind of fairly standard. That's all just kind of one thing that goes out. But your DBS validation here, you can choose what's going out. So if there's any additional circumstances, any additional characteristics or anything like that that you need as part of the DBS, you can select them. So if it's for a volunteer, if it's just for adult first, whatever it is, you can choose there. And you can, when you save it, it's then going to trigger it out to the candidate. I don't know if it's going to let me do this.
No, I think no, it's my right to work's expired.
We're being deported.
Yeah, that's it. The pre-verification checks have expired because it's a long time since I did that.
It is. But essentially what happens then is it triggers it out to the candidate. They get access on their dashboard. And it, a little bit like the onboarding icon and things like that, there's a button on there. They click the button and then they go ahead and create the DBS through, well, they kind of do it through their phone, which is fairly standard. We've created a how-to video and we've included the candidate point of view as we go through that video. You'll get my dulcet tones and my horrible face showing. But yeah, you can kind of get an idea of what you do on the ATS side, what the candidate does, and then kind of how it looks once you come back. So once it has been submitted, it'll show something like this. And again, you can kind of click into that icon. And again, it's not going to show me because we're expired, but you've got a little download icon here. And once all your reports and checks and everything are back, you can download that. You can see all the different checks and perform any next steps from there. Anything else I need to add, Sam?
Yeah, I'll just cover a few bits. So with TriPad checks, we've worked very closely with Trust ID, our partner on this, to provide a set of rules. So as part of setting up TriPad checks, we will set up rules for right to work in DBS that we believe should cover all of the options that you're going to hit. Obviously, there's always going to be something that crops up that we didn't think of, but out the box as part of the project to get you set up, we will configure the rules. You can then go in and edit them in the way that Sally showed you a little while ago, but we believe the rules are optimum. And then things like you've got the next step. So when Sally hovered over that, it said, you know, it said that it was a contiguous right to work, and that it was, yeah, just brilliant. And it just came up with the next steps, which was imposter check required. So, you know, if it's a, you know, if it depending on the results, you will get a different set of information there. But obviously, it's quite difficult for us to demo that because we're all UK citizens with British passports. So it's not easy for us to show us. But as part of our say, as our work with Trust ID, you'll get a sort of, although you're going to get the full report, you're going to get a very abbreviated set of information at the bottom. If there were notes, the notes would be there, but instead of all of the information, you're going to get those next steps and you're going to get those rules already set up and configured. So literally out of the box, you'll be able to start triggering the check straight away.
So we've got a few questions. First one, what's the lead time to currently go onto Trust ID? At the moment, it's about 8 weeks, and that is because we've already got quite a lot of orders in. Sally obviously showed you that process of the build in terms of building the instances, and obviously our project team works with you to build that integration out for you. So there is a bit of a lead time at the moment on that. We've got a question around our other providers. So yes, we've got this with Trust ID at the moment. This functionality, a lot of what the functionality you've seen here is unique to our Trust ID integration. Currently, we don't have any plans to stop integrating with any other third parties. However, what I would say to that is there is a reason we have chosen to partner with Trust ID, and going forward, we will be investing more in the Trust ID partnership rather than the other partners. And that is partly because they want to work with us. They want to be more flexible in terms of billing, the way that we can support it with billing, in terms of like billing through different cost centers. And the support is all through TriPad as well. So if you have any problems with a right to work check or a DBS check, you speak to TriPad. You don't speak to the third party. Everything is through TriPad. So in time, you are going to see a lot more enhancements within the Trust ID solution than you probably would with the likes of Verifile, Sterling, etc.
Yeah, we got a question. We have basic, enhanced, barred adults. We cover all of the DBS that are available. So, and the form that Sally showed where we did the submission and got the vulnerable adults, that will change depending on the level of check that has been submitted at the beginning. So that there is, there are more options, but you can see we've got the vulnerable adults, the adult first. So everything that Trust ID enable, we can cover the checks for that. Cool. Right, that's it. I think we've covered those.
Sharon, over to you then.
Right, let me just share my screen. Oh, bear with me. I've got to open system settings to grant access. New laptop. Right, hopefully you'll be able to soon see this. There we go. Right, there we go. Just allow that. Right, so let me just take you through our new video interview solution. So this comes in two parts. I've got my camera off on purpose so that I can demo the actual interview to you. So this comes in two parts. So the first part of it is scorecards. So this is similar, I'd like to say similar to a process questionnaire, but much more simple. So a scorecard is what you would add to a video interview to enable your recruiters to go in and score the candidate, essentially. So you give it a title, so demo. I'm just going to put some quick words in because my typing's atrocious. And then you choose your scorecard type. So only 3 types of scores. You can score 1 to 5. You have 1 to 5 stars, or you can have a thumbs up, thumbs down, neutral. So you can choose which one you want. And then all of the questions in your scorecard are then scored in exactly the same way. So they're all 1 to 5. You can't have a combination of a thumb up, thumb down, and star. So it just makes it really, really simple. So I'm going to do the stars because I like those. And then you answer the question title. So was the candidate happy? No. And then you can just put a bit of a description. Yeah. And so these are questions that your recruiters will be completing, not the questions that your candidates will be answering. So I can add these in. I can add as many as I want. Can't think of anything to write. So there we go. So I'm just going to add that. And what I've got is just a very basic scorecard with 2 questions that I want my recruiters to answer when they're reviewing the candidate's interview. So what I'm now going to do is add this go in and create an interview. So everything with this is done in the ATS. So you create your scorecards in the ATS. You also create your interviews in the ATS. So I'm just going to go in and create a new video interview. So I'm going to give it a name. So webinar. I'm going to give it a display name, which is what the candidate will see. Webinar interview. And then if you just bear with me now, because I'm doing this on our sandbox, so it's slightly different, and we've set this up for a few different people. I can choose the language, the default language that the video is in. The videos and any help guides can be done in any of these languages, but I'm just going to do it in English because I tried to do it in a different language the other day and I wasn't sure where the buttons were. So I'm just going to choose English, and then I can add an intro video. So at the moment, the intro video must be hosted on a web page. So it can be a YouTube link, it can be Vimeo, I think it is one of the others that often are used. So you can put a link in there. You can show the hints and tips, you can send reminders, and then you can set a deadline. So how many days? I'm going to give you 7 days to complete this. And then you create your questions, and creating your interview questions is as simple as adding the question. Do you tell me about your sofa? And then I can choose whether it's a video or audio response that I want from the candidate. So I'll choose video. I choose the order of these, and then I choose the duration in minutes. So they've got 1 minute. I can give them retakes. So you can give them 0 retakes, or you can give them anywhere up to 10. So I'm going to give them 2 attempts to do this answer. And I'm just going to give them some thinking time. Now, the thinking time is included in the overall video time. It's just to give them that little bit of extra sort of padding on top of that minute. So I'm going to create my question. And there we are. And you can create as many questions as you want. You can link a direct question to a scorecard question. You know, you could have 2 questions because I've got 2 on my scorecard. I could have 5. It's entirely up to me. You've got your icon text, which has already been set up for this, but I can put it as VI, or I could put it as anything I wanted. So SA for shop assistant, SM for store manager, that kind of thing. And then I set up my rules. So I'm going to create a rule. So received. So we only get 1 set of information back. So this is not like Sally was showing with Trust ID. So we will just know when we get the candidate's video back. So status equals received. But this is where the good stuff is. So when we get the candidate video back, we want to open the scorecard that we've just created. So I'm just going to add a scorecard, and I'm just going to choose that demo one that I've just done. Might also want some other things. So I might also want to set the label color. So I want it to be blue. So when we get the interview back, the label color will become blue, and we'll provide that scorecard that we've just linked in here to the recruiters to be able to mark the candidates' interviews. So I'm just going to create that. And I'll just show you how you add this to a role. So I'm just going to go in and edit. So this is set up in the application flow. So I've got an integration called video, which is one that I created earlier. And I've got that as a step in the application journey. You can also move it to post application and then have it triggered. So if you didn't want to interview everybody as part of their application, but you wanted to do it at the shortlist stage, for example, or long list, or anywhere you wanted to, then you could automatically, once the candidates move to that stage, then automatically trigger this interview to them. I'm just going to leave it where it is for now. And I'm just going to go back without making any changes. And then I'm just going to run you through the candidate part. So here's one I created earlier. So I've started an application for that role. I'm just going to click on continue. And I've been invited to an assessment. Now, the candidate receives an email. Oh, not going to receive an email there, are they? So what happens is, this is just typical. The candidate will receive an email with a link to invite them to do the video interview. And I am presuming that one of us, at some point, Sally's been in and changed this. So let me have another go. Let me remove this. I'll just add another one into this. So integration. Which one have I just created? Didn't create any of those, did I? Team training, we'll do that one. So I'm just going to add this back in. So we've got this still as part of the application flow. I'm just going to need to apply as another candidate. So bear with me. Won't take me a second. Too short. Yep. There we go. Right, sorry, it's not going to work for me today. But what that should do is send an email, and the email is sent through from our video provider, Willow. The emails have been enhanced to try and explain what's happening to your candidates. They then log in, they're given a hints and tips. They say they can change everything to any language that suits them. So if they would prefer it in Spanish, they can change it without the need for you to create an interview in Spanish. And then once they've completed the interview, that bit I can show you. If I just choose one of these. So if you see here, we've got a recording link, which will just open up, and this will show me the candidates, probably mine interview. Just bear with me, let me log out of that. So if I click on that recording link, I can see, there we go. So this is me doing an interview. Can you tell me why you're interested in this role? I'm not going to let you listen to my salt and pepper, but you can listen to these and then go back in, and then I can complete the scorecard and say what I thought of the candidate. Submit it. Many people can submit it. So it's very much like a process questionnaire. If you're using that panel scoring, anyone who's got access to the role can go in and submit the scorecard for the candidate, and then you'll be able to see the averages, your score, and it can be hidden with permission. So as a super user, I might be able to see all of the questions and all of the answers and all of the scores. As a hiring manager, I might just be able to see mine, or I might just be able to see the average of everyone's. So I'm sorry I couldn't show it you live. It is always a little bit difficult showing a video in a video. So sometimes it does work with Google, but I just presuming it won't work with the Zoom and let me go in and do that. Cool. Right.
A couple of questions, I think, Sam.
We do, yes. Right.
How does it work with anonymous applications?
In exactly the same way. So you won't see the candidate. So obviously, if you're going to see them if you've got a video. We don't anonymize the video. You can choose audio, so you could do that, but there's no way to anonymize a video and still let you see that information. So although you won't see the candidate's name, there is no guarantee that they're not going to introduce themselves as part of the interview. So anonymous applications and videos are generally something that are never going to be 100% anonymized, because people often do say things when they, don't mean to.
Next question was, are the scorecards hidden from other managers if they've applied to other roles?
Not if you can see that other role, then you will be able to see the candidate against, and you'll be able to see the scorecard. But what I would say is, with managers, just let them see their own scores. So
Okay.
don't let them see anyone else's.
And then the other questions around the session. Yeah, the session is being recorded. It's going to be uploaded to the landing page, so you can go back to that landing page, share it with anyone within your teams. And similarly, also the how-to guides, etc., are all going on to the TriPad support pages as well.
Already there.
Oh,
Already there.
Sally's a step ahead as well.
Obviously.
Right. Thank you everyone for joining. We've run over again. I think maybe we need to look at extending these out a little bit past the hour. Yeah, some really good questions, and seems that people are quite excited by some of the features, which, as the product manager, makes my heart sing, I've got to say. So thank you everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the day.